Morning YouTube and the internet. Quick update on how the 300's going. Obviously you'll have seen I've pulled the subs and crap out of the back of it, and now I've got my new tyres. .255 4017s. I've just got to get the skidder tyres out of the back. Who says 300s aren't friggin' practical? Fits 4 wheels in the back, no dramas. Now I will be towing it to the track for the simple reason that, well, it's not actually that practical. It's pretty hard to fit 4 wheels in there, and I'm going to want spare wheels and tyres just in case I get a puncture or something stupid. I don't want it to end my day completely. It'll mean I can't go fast, but at least I'll be able to keep running potentially. That's heavy. So yeah, all I got to do is whip these tyres out, put a couple of bits of the trim back in place, and install the brakes. So they've turned up, just the front pads. Give it a wash, put some tape on that wing like I said, and that's it. That should be ready to go. So these tyres, like I said before, I picked these up for under $200 each. Place around the corner from work. There's been some pretty good feedback on Nankang's new tyre ranges. The AR1 semi-slick gets really good feedback. Bang for buck wise, they're not, they don't appear, well, they just aren't competitive with the top end of semi-slicks, and they're not, these won't be competitive with things like an 8008, but an 8008's a lot more money, so they seem to have hit a sweet spot in bang for buck with a reasonable amount of performance. So let's get these tyres out, save them, put them in the skidder pile, and then try not to get hit by your wheels. Tyres, we should be good to go racing tomorrow. It's Friday today. I've taken the day off work to just to make sure everything's tidied up and sorted, and make sure I minimise the risk of dramas tomorrow. There's always dramas at racing. But yeah, that's where I'm at. And that's all I'm going to do. She's still stock. It's got to have seats and shit in it. So that's where I'm at. I know this might be upsetting to some of you, but I have removed the neons as well. They just don't seem to add the same amount of horsepower as they say in the box. So yeah, they're going in the bin. Well, YouTube and the internet, it's pretty much ready. I do have to put the inner guard, actually, I just got to zip tie that line up. We're not going to put the inner guard back in, because scraping, potentially. I had some big bumps on the way home, and there's the faintest of scrapes, and I think it's just touching the inner guard on the other side. So I'm not going to put that in there. I'm going to take the one out the other side as well, and just make sure that the I don't know, whatever that line is, it's not a boost line, whatever it is tucked up out of the way, and the same on the other side. She needs a wash, and then she needs loading on a trailer after I do the brakes. So that's this afternoon, because I've got to go and do something at the moment. But once I come back from that this afternoon, I'll be installing the new brake pads. I do know the compound name now. It's a Serco S17, and yeah, I'll be slamming them in, flushing the brake fluid, giving it a wash, sticking it on the trailer which is out in the street, and ready to go. Slam a couple of tools, spare wheels and that in the back of the Falcon. Ready for first thing in the morning to drive out of here and head off to the circuit and see just how slow is an NA300ZX. Quite would be the actual answer, but we'll be able to quantify it. Alright, YouTube and the internet, time has come for the brakes. So these are, they do have a pad compound number. They're an S17. They're carbon ceramic high performance street pad. That's them, they look like brake pads. So let's hope they're the right ones, because I'm not 100% sure if these are factory calipers. The aluminium Sumitomo Nissan ones, which are pretty common on these, so I'm pretty sure these are the same on Subaru WRXs, all the Skylines pretty much, and the 300ZX. There is differences in the piston sizes between some of those, but I'm pretty sure they all take the same pad. So we're going to find out shortly. So brake pads is a pretty simple job. We've got our simple caliper here. These pins pretty much hold them in. I like to just give them a twist to break any sort of brake dust, or in this case, you know, if they were painted in, which it looks like they were, you've got to crack that off. I don't know how much you're going to be able to see there, but we've just got the pin at the back. So that's all you need to do there. Push the pins out. Pin. Lower pin. That comes out. You just got to push the piston back a little bit and they should just pop out. While that's in there, give that a good pull, because when you're putting a new pad in, it's going to have more meat on it. So you're going to need the piston further back. So there's one pad. Now let's compare that quickly to the ones we've got in the box. You can see that they are pretty much the same. These are just like a shitty street pad. That's fine. These shims help to prevent noise. So put them back on the new assembly. Now you can put some grease on there as well. Will help, and I will, to avoid noise. And now the second one should come out easy, because the rotor will pull out of the way. So got our backing plates, and let's go get a new pad. Here's a new pad. Now let me go see if I can find something to grease him with. Is a copper grease, basically. It's a metallic grease. It's ideal for this sort of thing. It's good at high temperatures. So we just put some on the back of the pad, like so. first shim on. Smear it around. Make sure it's nice and centered. These already have a shim on them, so I may have to ditch one of these. But let's see if I can get it with all of them in there. And a bit more. Put the outer shim on. So the idea of that is it stops the vibration which causes the squeaking when you put your brake pad, when you put your foot on the brake. And then we should want all that back in. Ah, no! Oh, you fuck. You should want all of that back into the caliper. Before I go too far, let's make sure I can get the pin through here. So everything's lined up. Yep, good to go. Just pull the pistons back out of the way. Give yourself more clearance. It's maybe one shim too many here. Okay. Put it in too far at the top. Jiggle it out a little bit. Good to go. And on the other side, I'm just going to pry the piston back a little bit, gently. And you want to be careful you don't have an overfull brake reservoir when you do this, because you're pushing the fluid back up the lines. So let's grease our second pad. Make sure that the noise maker's on the inboard side on these. The thing that squeals. Turn around the right way, you idiot. Need a bit more room. Make sure you don't pinch the seal, the dust boot, if you're prying them apart too. Otherwise you get dirt and shit in there and it'll wear out your seals. So just by pulling the rotor back on the other side, that's giving me the clearance. Pad retainer back in. Oops, too far. Okay, that's all started. That pad's in too far. Here we go. Now using a screwdriver, rotate this pin to align that hole up again, which is in the back there. And then pull it in like that. Easy as that, despite how hard I made it look. I should have done the whole job with the wheel rotated. I'll do the other side like that. And then after we do this, we've got to bed the brakes. And these didn't come with a bedding procedure, so I'll just use a general road pad bedding procedure, which is a series of stops, cooling, stops, cooling, stops, cooling at different speeds. Let's get these pads on the other side. So, YouTube and the internet. Pads fitted, TWR RBF 600 brake fluid, floss through the lines. Now I'm off to bed the brakes. It's a simple process. I'm going to take it up to 60 and with moderate to hard braking force, stop 3 or 4 times, let the pads cool down, and then do 3 or 4 hard brakes from 60 k's an hour, let it cool down, so by driving it. Then do 5 stops from 80, cool it down, 5 stops from 100, cool it down, and the last cool down is quite long. I'll be driving up and down the motorway a bit to give plenty of airflow over the pads, over the brakes. Once I've done that, I will re-bleed the brakes. I'll just take the little bit of the fluid that's in the caliper out, so just a bit in the end, because it's going to have seen some really high temperatures. Obviously it'll see high temperatures tomorrow as well, but it's a good, I always just like to pull that little bit out after I bed the brakes, and also make sure you haven't got any air in there. So that's what I've got to do now. The camera went flat before, so that's why I didn't sort of get any of that. And I'd take it with me, but I need this fully charged for tomorrow, so I've got you on the charger in the garage. Just got to shuffle all my cards around and get the 300 out and go. I'll let you know how it went. Okay, YouTube and the internet, I'm back. I've bedded the pads. They work pretty well. Pretty good initial bite and good pedal feel. I could really get close to locking point without stepping over the line, that's a good thing, because it gives you confidence you're not going to lock up. So I need to now, there she is, I need to now just re-bleed the last bit of the brake fluid that I've just cooked when bedding the brakes. Bleed that out of the calipers, and then I'm ready to go. Load her up, load up the Falcon, and prepare for an early start tomorrow morning. If I think of anything else, I'll let you know. Obviously, last thing I do, I'll check the oil, check the coolant, check the power steering, all standard things. You don't need to see that, but I'll be doing all that now. Yeah. Now I'm gone from excitement to nerves. Oh, wash it. I'm going to give it a quick wash too. Oh, the tape. Shit. I haven't been down and bought that red tape. I'm going to tape down. If you look at this section of the wing here, how it's lifting. Right here. So the concern there is the more, the high speed air will get under it and lift it and want to try and pry it up. I don't think it's going to come off, not in a million years. But it might look like it's going to come off, and I don't want to be pinned mechanically and told I can't go on the track. So we'll run down to super cheap and buy some red blast tape or something similar, slam on that. Well, YouTube and the internet, one last job to do. Just got to torque those wheels up properly, not with the rattle gun for track work. And it's fine on the street, but that extra layer of insurance is good for the track. And I've got to go for a drive in it because I've just washed it, and now I've washed it, the brake rotor's got water on it and they want to go rusty. So I'm going to scrape that rust off before it gets embedded into the brake compound.